everybody. Welcome, welcome. First live Focus Mini in a while. First time I have done a live since, I don't know. I took a little bit of time off, so I'm happy to be back today. I am here to talk to you today about jaw pain. So it seems like there has been an influx of jaw issues recently, and I know that the pandemic definitely has contributed to that. If you Google jaw pain pandemic, you will find a lot of articles about how the stress levels of being on lockdown has created all kinds of jaw issues for people, grinding, pain in the jaw that they never had before. And of course that trickles into the rest of the body, but we're gonna talk just about the jaw today. So hello, I see somebody watching there. If you're here live, please say hello. And if you're watching on the replay, say #replay so I can find you. Welcome to my first Focus Mini in a while. So I'm gonna be short and sweet today because I don't have a ton of time. I'm trying out a new time. 11:30 on Monday is when I'm gonna be at it for the next few weeks at least, because it's sort of between two classes that I teach. So I always have this time available, even though it's kind of a weird time, but we're gonna try it. So let's get right to it. So first of all, how many of you have jaw pain? How many of you, actually what I want to ask is how many of you have recent jaw pain? I want to know if you've had jaw pain chronically for a long time too, but I'm curious how many people have experienced new issues just in the last year or so. So if you're watching live or on replay, let me know if you have jaw issues. So first of all, let's talk about the jaw joint. So when people say that they have TMJ, TMJ is actually the name of your jaw joint. So really what we're talking about is TM joint issues, right? So let's talk about that joint and where it is on your body. So I'll grab Skelly here in a second, but I want you to, hello, I see a couple more people in there. Hi there. Let me know you're here. I'm wondering if I'm not seeing comments maybe, but sometimes that happens. Let me know if you're here so I can say hi to you. Let's locate our jaw joint on our own body, and then I'll show you on Skelly too so that you can see, but find your cheekbones. And they protrude out, so you'll feel those pretty easily. And if you follow along your cheekbones, you'll find that they have a little bit of a U shape. I'm exaggerating it, but there's a little bit of a dip that goes down. And then if you keep following that ridge all the way to about this little flap, this is called your tragus right here. I know that only because I used to have it pierced. So this little flap of ear, this little tragus right here. If you kind of dig your finger in there, get the little tip of your finger, you'll feel, and then open and close your mouth, you'll feel the joint in action there, right? You can actually feel it hinging open and closed. So I want you to take both fingers here, right in that little divot of the joint, and do your best to get equal pressure with both fingers and just push in gently but firmly both fingers into the two sides of the jaw joint. Open and close a couple of times. And I want you to notice which side's more tender. Chances are there's going to be one side that's a little more tender than the other. Maybe they're both tender. Maybe they're both not. That's great if they're not. But just trying to kind of identify the imbalances that are in there. So keep the fingers there. I'm going to grab Skelly. I want to show you a little bit more clearly without, skin and flesh and everything. So we talked about, there's the cheekbone. We talked about how it kind of comes down a little bit. And if you follow that around, really the joint's right in there. So let me show you. I can get sort of up in there. Yeah, you can see that happening there. So every time you open and close your mouth, that joint is getting work, it's getting exercise, and all of the muscles around it are getting work too. And Yamana will tell you that the chewing muscles are the most overworked muscles in the body. And have you ever experienced that when you're chewing something and you get like exhausted? You get kind of like a burning sensation or a fatigue just from chewing, right? So before we get started on the actual kind of work in the jaw, what I want you to do now that you've kind of located that for yourself is actually just, you could do this sitting, but I'm going to recommend that you do it lying down, and I think I'm actually going to lie down for it too. I just want you to have a brief embodiment exercise. I'm going to share an image with you that I have shared before, so some of you might have heard this before, but I think it's worth repeating, especially today, since we're talking about the jaw. So this is an image that I got from a friend of mine, Virginia. You can follow her page, Virginia Marie Yoga. She is a yoga teacher in Costa Rica, and well, it's chilly today. She teaches yoga on the beach, and she has this absolutely wonderful image of how to free your jaw. So I want you to just lie on your back, or you could be sitting if you want. You can have your knees bent or straight. And I want you to, before I get to that image, actually, I'm a little ahead of myself. Before I get to that image, I want you to make a fist. So make a fist with one or two hands and squeeze tight. And I want you to notice, did anything happen in your jaw? So surprisingly, a lot of people, when we try to exert force or work to like lift something or push something, we try to initiate from our jaw. For some reason, we think that's going to help. So we grind down, we crunch down. So I want you to make your fists and see if you can do that without gripping your jaw. Hopefully you can, but you might be surprised to find that you're doing a lot of work that you don't need to do. Okay, now I want you to curl your toes and release. And curl your toes and release. And notice, did anything happen in your jaw? Hopefully not, but if it did, see if you can try this action, the curling of the toes, without any work happening in your jaw. Might be easier said than done. Now I want you to pick one or two more places in your body that you know that you hold tension. It could be sort of in your, it could be, for me, it's behind my knees. I hold a ton of tension behind my knees, so you might decide that you want to do that. Stay on your back for a second. I'm just bundling up because it's chilly in here. So find a place that you know that you hold tension and grip that place. And while you're gripping it, see if you can keep your jaw free. Like I said, it might be easier said than done. So try a couple more of those, gripping and releasing, and seeing if you can find freedom in your jaw. Now I want to share that image with you, my friend Virginia. So this is a tropical image, and you've heard me share this in another live that I did one time long ago. Lying here, I want you to feel as if your lower teeth is a boat, and the tongue is just floating on the boat on the water. So everything is just sort of floating. Your tongue, your teeth, everything's just kind of floating in this bottom level of your mouth. Now I want you to think of your top teeth as little fruits, just love this, little fruits hanging from a fruit tree. So we have bananas and coconuts and mangoes all hanging freely. They're dangling. So your teeth are not pressing into the boat. There is space between the fruit that is hanging and the boat that is floating. So ideally when your mouth is closed, really your teeth in the back, they don't need to be touching. There can be a little bit of space back there. So see if you can find that space way back there. This may be really simple for you, or this may be very difficult for you. Now I'm going to show you some actual sort of face jaw massage stuff that you can do, and then we'll revisit that at the end. So for this first thing, I'm going to use a Yamuna face ball. Now, if you don't have a Yamuna face ball, you can use a Yamuna black ball. It's not ideal, but it will give you a sense of what this is about. If you don't have a Yamuna black ball, you can use your fingertip. So I'm going to use the face ball, and just a quick little explanation about the face ball. As you can see, it's quite a bit smaller than the black ball. Actually, it doesn't look that much smaller on the screen, but it is actually. This is, I think, like 4 inches, and this is probably like 3 inches in diameter. It's also a really super soft material, so it's specifically made for the skin of your face. So it's a little bit different than the black ball and all the other balls that are denser. So what I want you to do is, by the way, you're going to put your hand in your mouth for this. So it being pandemic and all, you want to make sure your hands are clean. So the really cool and unique thing about working the jaw is that you can actually access it from the inside as well as the outside. And that's really different from most of our body parts. We can't always get underneath and get on the inside of that, right? So this is the unique opportunity to be able to get it from both angles. So you're going to take your, I use my thumb, but you could use really any finger. You're going to bring your tongue way back at the back, or sorry, your thumb way back at the back, right where you felt that joint, right? You can feel it from the inside. I'm going to look pretty silly here, okay, so bear with me. So you're going to take your thumb, you're going to push into that joint. At the same time, you're going to take the ball and you're also going to push into the joint. So you're basically squeezing the joint to create space. So you're trying to dig the finger in the inside, use the ball to widen that joint. So here we go. Push into it, and you're going to take the ball and you're going to push towards your thumb. You're pushing in. Oh, it's pretty tight, okay? Now, you're going to release. Open and close your mouth a time or two. Now, you're going to go the opposite way. So now you're going to take both fingers. You're still going to kind of grab the jaw from the inside. You're going to take your index finger from the outside. You're going to pull away from the ear. And pull it that way. And then you're going to take the ball at the same time, and you're going to pull towards the ear. So we're going to try to pry open the joint this direction. So going separate, opposite directions. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to pull that way. I can feel it opening. Just from pulling, I can feel stuff opening there. And I'm going to take the ball, and I'm going to push towards the ear. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. Okay? And then open and close your mouth a couple times. Pretty different between the two sides. I can really feel a difference. I actually feel it in my ear too. You might actually get like a little ear pop, a little opening in your ear, because we are affecting the eustachian tubes as well. I'm only showing you a little part of this, but you can actually follow along your whole cheekbone, your sinus passages, and actually get some opening and some drainage. So you might experience some of that. Now, since I don't have a ton of time today, I'm only going to do this at one point, but you could also repeat this pushing towards the ball and then pulling away. Pushing towards the jaw joint, both the ball and the thumb, pushing towards the jaw joint, and then pulling away. You can repeat that a little higher and a little lower. For now, today, we're going to go to the other side. So you're going to take your other hand now, take your other thumb, reach back in there, and push straight into that. Oh, my goodness, it's tight. And I don't even have jaw issues, so I can imagine those that have jaw issues, this is going to be really tight. So you're doing that just to kind of find it, and then you're going to take your ball. Remember where the joint is. You're pushing into the joint from the inside, and you're pushing into the joint from the outside with the ball. So you're pushing your thumb and your ball toward one another. And start like that. You could also do this lying on your back, but I just wanted you to be able to see this close up. And then let it go. Okay, already it feels a little more even. I still feel like the first side is more open though. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite. So now you're going to use your index and your thumb finger. Pull this way, away from the ear, and at the same time you're going to take the ball and be pushing into the joint up towards the ear. So again, you're prying it open. So here we go. Okay, so I got those fingers there. I'm holding it. And then, oh my goodness. Oh. I know it looks so ridiculous, but my gosh, it feels good. Okay, open and close your mouth a couple times again. All right, now, like I said, if we had full time, to do an hour class or something, we would do at least 3 points, a little up at the top of the joint, because all the joints can be divided. You can like make really little tiny increments within the joint. So we kind of just did the middle of the joint, but you could go a little lower, a little higher. Now, here is another little hack that you can do. Where is it? Okay. So this is an interesting little tidbit that I picked up from Yamana years ago when I used to work in the studio there as a receptionist. And I would hear her tell people to do this. And it's a little controversial. The reason it's controversial is because it requires this it's a cat ball, okay? This is a cat toy. I do not know exactly what this is made of, but I am willing to bet that this is not like BPA free. It's probably fairly toxic, which is why it's controversial. And I don't think that she really recommends this anymore because of that. And I'm pretty careful about toxins in my body, but something like this, it's such a short thing that I feel like the benefits outweigh the risks. So I'm going to share it with you, then you can decide if it's for you or not. But I'll just let you know that these usually come, you can find these in usually they come like a 3-pack in the pet store or the pet section of the grocery store, and they're cheap. So there's also one of my mentees actually got a different version of this because she really didn't want the toxic stuff. So she got a special like non-toxic ball. It's actually a dog ball. It's a little bigger, but it folds, so it's working really well for her. So you can find little other versions, but this is what I have. So I'm going to show you with this. So this is a pretty dense ball. I don't know if you can see, but it's hard. It's not like super soft. So here's what you do if you are grinding at night and you wake up with jaw pain, you know you're grinding your teeth. Here's something that you can do before bed to kind of keep things open. So what you do is you start with the ball on one side. You open your mouth and you start just at the front corner. I'm going to say what I'm going to do first because I can't talk at all when I have this in. What you're going to do is you're going to bite down and kind of palpate. You'll see what I mean. Okay? 3 or 4 times. Do the other side. Obviously, you don't want to share this ball with anyone either. This is just my ball. Okay? You do that 3 or 4 times, that's it. Go to sleep, hopefully wake up with less jaw pain. Every day you do this and you add in the next spot. So you would start out again the next day, and then try to go further back. Okay? Be careful, don't choke. This is pretty big, probably pretty hard to choke on it. Be very careful though. You do this every day, 3 or 4 palpations each side. You'll find every day that you do this, you can go back a little further and a little further. So essentially what you're doing is you're widening the space. You're creating less of an urge or a tendency to grip down. You're facilitating the image that we talked about, the space between the back teeth, the boat floating on the water, the fruits hanging down. You're facilitating that freedom in your jaw. Okay, so I know that looks really silly, and like I said, this is I wouldn't want to be eating this. I certainly don't want this in my body all the time, but this short little thing, I personally feel like I'm okay with it. If you're not okay with it, you can find non-toxic versions. They don't look exactly like this, but they're similar. So after you have done that on both sides, again, you might feel a little bit of the ear opening a little bit. You might get some drainage, sort of post-nasal drainage as the eustachian tubes open up and as things are able to flow more freely. Now this is just touching on jaw stuff. I am by no means a jaw expert. I'm not a face expert. There's an entire face certification that I have not completed. I know just the bare bones, just a few little tidbits. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So there are people out there, there are Yamana practitioners out there who do specialize in the face and the jaw. And in fact, Yamana just finished a 3-week TMJ series. I don't know if it's still available after it's done or not, but if you wanted to Google that, I'm sure she has like tons of videos on YouTube and stuff about this particular thing. So this is just a couple little tips. There's tons more work that you can do for the jaw and the face in general. But since I've had so many people ask me about it recently, I thought it was time to address it. And like I said, if it's something that really pertains to you that you really want to focus more on, let me know. I can either get you started on the next steps or direct you to somebody who can really comprehensively help you with your jaw issues. So how did that go for you? The couple of you that are watching here, did you try those exercises? I know if you don't have this ball, you probably couldn't do that one right away, but hopefully you're able to do this one. I should have mentioned if you didn't have any ball at all, you could do your finger. And then together. So you can find hacks for this even if you don't have the Yamana equipment. So any questions about that? Does anyone have any questions that weren't answered or any feedback that you want to share? Let me know in the comments so that I can better guide you. And I think that's it for today. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anything. No, that was everything. If you wanted to try lying on the floor again and trying that image of the fruits in the boat, contracting your fist, contracting your toes, contracting different parts of your body, and noticing, are you able to do it now without getting everything else involved? So I'm trying it right now. It's easier now. I still have a tendency to do it. For some reason, we really want to help when we're our bodies really want to give it our all when we're trying to do something big or to lift something or whatever. So, you have to kind of practice doing it with ease and freedom, and eventually it will become your new patterning. So hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, if you really have a lot of TMJ issues, then definitely hit me up so that we can get you started on the path towards relief for that. So like I said, I'm going to hopefully be here next Monday as well, around 11:30, and I'm going to do this for a few weeks and see how this time goes. But thank you for being here with me today. Have a wonderful day, and hope to see you next week. Bye.